Alright, here we go again, playing Wounded Waters Bleeding against HME, going for Serene. I believe it's probably the first time I'm going Serene in the matchup ever. I don't, generally speaking, I usually go Roiling by default because it's just so strong, and I never feel the urge to try out Serene in this matchup. Didn't seem especially good for that, and if it's not especially good, why would you, right? But this game we are going to, and surely it will be fine. Sky Stretchers is a great card in multiplayer. And solo, it's usually not great, I don't think. Uncanny Melting can be great. Can also be bad in this specific matchup. It's better against other adversaries, and it requires a Sacred Saint. Call to Migrate is just fucking expensive for what it does, man. Even with the pushes and the gathers, with the Serene Waters, you still only get one downgrade, right? So, mostly taps by getting 3 Dahan basically wherever you want on a solo board. But, yeah, doesn't seem like that high value. So I'm thinking I'm going Uncanny Matching here. Allows me to take a bit more blight than required and still have a little bit of what do you say? Like, for example, I could let them ravage land 7 turn 1. Play Uncanny Melting, just heal the blight again. And that just kind of runs the build, right? So maybe that is the option. I think we're saving Boon of Corrupted Blood here. Against almost all other adversaries, it would be a level 1 play. And you could use it on land 4 to reduce the number of invaders there and whatnot, but I think it's probably correct. And another upside of playing Uncanny Melting here is that it allows us to go for Silent Spell, which can push 2 invaders. Which, you know, kind of relevant since they explore with 2 explorers, right? And also, level 1 I have to have a Sacred Site. There's no line of play where I don't. And so I don't have to manufacture one. I already have one. It costs me nothing. So yeah, I'll just let them blight here and then heal it again, I think. It's not great, it might... I'm thinking of taking 2 blight, then the following ravage. And with that, turning off the escalation, or sorry, the HME 6 rule, right? So, yeah. But I don't want to take more than 2 turns of double explores if I can help it, this being the first one. Alright, let's flip the event and ignore it. Remnant of a Spirit's Heart. I don't tend to like this one, so I'm happy it's gone. Then I build in land 3, and I ravage in land 7. Let's use a reminder here to remind ourselves that after build we choose the mining boom land. So given this board state, it seems like the best possible land to mining boom would be land 7. We will just stack it up. We will heal the blight. It will be great. So we mining boomed. We explore it's into mountain. Yeah, so let's talk about that next turn. Push, put the reminder back into place, and then let's go into slow. Uncanny Melting produces 1 fear, which I appreciate. It's good against the adversary. Use that blight again, and that was that. I only have Silent Spell left. options that I have. I could move both of the explorers out of land 6, or I could start moving something out of land 4. If I don't move out of land 4, it will probably blight. Kind of depends on whether or not I'm playing Boon of Corrupted Blood there. Would be nice to prevent that, what is it, build, honestly. But there's a line of play in which I just push one of the explorers out of there next turn. And I will have a next level 1 card, which means I'll explore into one of these two, right? Yeah, I think what we're doing here is probably let this through and then prevent this. It seems kind of awkward, but the main reason is that this land doesn't have any Dahan, and here I can use Dahan to solve all of my problems, right? So let's push these into here maybe. Oh man. I'm not 100% sure if this is the correct line of play. I mean, I could even use Boon of Corrupted Blood there now, because it's only one explorer. Maybe that is a good play. Let's see, we can also try to fend for that. And I would love to play Domesticated Animals Go Berserk. I could even, but I would tend to play turn 3 or 4. I could play this turn 3. It would mean that turn 3 I get level 1 of Swell and Spit and level 1 of Sanguinary Retained, instead of getting level 2 of Swell and Spell and level 1 of Sanguinary. But I haven't drafted a second water animal card yet anyway, so... And then there's Steam Vents. I mean, that card is overpriced, right? But it would be water, and it could solve land 4. And, like, killing an explorer is kind of useful against the adversary. Little bits of ping damage are actually useful here. It's just one energy seems so high a price for that. Just to have the water. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draft Domesticated Animals. We are going to play Boon of Corrupted Blood. Also allows us to forget a card soon. And that is good. And then push into... I want to be in lands that will be relevant soon. So I can use my... What is it? My Serene waters to full advantage. Ideally in land 7 or 3, because those are the only kinds of lands I don't have any presences in, but I mean... Maybe do that. Then in the case of the Jungle Explorer, I have good coverage of the jungles, and in terms of sands, I have that too. Alright. Then this turn, I will hopefully only explore with a single explorer, which means that Sanguinary Taint can probably prevent a build. Kill that with Boon of Corrupted Blood. Flip the event, pull together in adversity. I ignore Strife, I don't care. Destroy 2 explorers among lands with Beast. I love that. I get the hand defense, but it's not enough here, sadly. Like, I considered doing something here, but it just seemed not defendable. And putting out one Dahan did not seem to be worth it over doing what I did to land 4. So yeah, sadly it goes to waste, and we ravage, it still blights. The Dahan still dies. This still blights. We are at 4 blight on the board, which is the magic number. We build, but not in land 4. Rather, we build in land 6. And then I have to mining boom. And I think I'd like to mining boom in land 7, right? That has to be correct. I don't want to mining boom in lands with disease. And land 3 has... Land 3 is perfect. Probably. Like, thinking about the salt ravage, that is, sorry, the salt deposits card. It's likely to be good. I should be a bit careful here. When you're going roiling, you don't really mind if the land is like 700 invaders, because you can use Water's Taste of Ruin into lands that you don't intend to fully solve, and it's still fine, right? It does things, it kills some stuff, it pushes some other stuff out, and if there's still stuff in there, who cares? Same is not quite true for Water's Renew. Water's Renew, if the land is ravaging and you get the Dahan into there, you really want the land to be small enough that it doesn't actually kill your Dahan. I mean, you could kill your Dahan, but you don't ever have enough, I feel, to do that. So yeah, mining boom into land 7. Maybe it's getting too large, I'm not sure, but it'll be fine surely, right? So, and since we have 4 blight on the board, we explore into land 8 and land 1 with 1 explorer. And both of these would have allowed me to do the thing that I'm gonna do now, which is Sanguinary Change, kill that. Actually, so my plan was to push a third Dahan into there, but I don't actually need that anymore because I have defend now. So maybe push that into here instead. Sadly, I don't have Serene now. If I had Serene, it would downgrade the city. But there's a little bit of a danger in having the Dahan in the land with the disease, but I mean, there's also potential upside for having the Dahan in my land. I think all in all, I'm happy with that. Let's draft a miner. I keep forgetting to do that. Oh, there are good cards here. Excellent. Which is good because I drafted an animal I really did not want to see only animal cards or something like that. So I think I'm gonna forget Boon of Corrupted Blood here. It seems high value to me. I'm not sure, maybe I'm wrong, but I rarely regret it. Going to land 7, so there's 2 lines of thinking here that I can see. One is Strong and Constant Currents is a really, really good card in the build, so I should place my presence in coastal lands to make full use of that. The other one is that Poison Duel has like the elements that I require as to Renewing Rain, and I arguably still need a card that has Water plus Plant. I would have liked a card with Water plus Animal too, but I guess that's not gonna happen, so the next best thing would be Water plus Plant. So that makes me think maybe I don't go Stronger Constant Currents. I mean, it's clearly the best card out of the bunch, right? But the issue is just that I think I get one more use of Water's Renew out of having the third plant card, and I think I value that higher than the objectively stronger Constant Currents. Do I? Probably, yeah, right? And I mean, Poison Dew is just good in the... Poison Dew is just good with all the downgrades, so feels maybe wrong to throw away Strong and Constant Currents, but as I said, I don't have all that much experience in this specific matchup, so maybe I'm just making a mistake. We will find out, hopefully. So I must play this, and I must play one of these 2 cards. And out of these 2, the question is how urgent... this is the card that you play when you have something that is building something dangerous and you want to prevent the Ravage next turn. I don't really have that, right? That land is not doing anything dangerous. So the Bloodwater and Bloodlust is more like the play for the turn after kind of version. Except in this matchup it can actually be a useful sort of pseudo defend as well. Something I should be doing is I should gather this into here just to be sure that disease skip event doesn't cascade me here. I mean, cascading is not that bad, honestly. Or the HME version of it anyway, but yeah. So I domesticated animals, land 6. Also, my Serene is now online. I should flip that. Alright. And so this is 1 fear and defend 5 in that land. And I have already chosen that my element must be water. Otherwise I have to heal animal here. So let's flip the event and let's hope it's not one that I want animal for. Investigations of dangers. I get to add explorers. I tend to not like that, but into a land without Dahan or Invader, so I guess there's only land 4. I was thinking about how to be strategic here with regards to the salt deposits card, but there's no opportunity to be strategic here. It's just there's one land that's allowed. Prey on the Envary. -1 Explorer. That could be bad. It means I can no longer use this as a mining boom land, but perhaps it's large enough already. You need an Explorer to mining boom in a land. Rouse the Spirits. Yeah, I could use a slow power in quick if I had more lands with the Han, but I really want to do that, and I don't want to do it here either. I don't know, man, I'm a slow power kind of player. I like my slow powers, and I most of the time do not want to have them in quick. Some specific circumstances is extremely strong, but most of the time it's just very fine playing a slow. Alright, we ravage. Nothing happens here. And in land 6 they all die, right? Which is perfect. And then they build in land 1, but they don't. And then the disease gets removed here. And then we see the 1 explorer in phase 2 that we get before we see the salt deposits card. And it's jungle. I think that is good for us. It's something that's not terribly built up. Alright. And then we escalate, which means exploring into 2 lands. No, that is after advancing. Okay, so let's advance invader cards first, and then let's explore into 2 lands that are either wetlands or mountain. So one thing I could be doing is I could explore into land 4. That means that with next turn's explorer, this is a 3 explorer land, and that is pretty fine. And the other thing I could is either 3, 7, or 6. And I think out of these I'd probably prefer to explore into land 6. It's a bit annoying, it will require, like 1 explorer is kind of the worst thing that you can have. Actually, did I mining boom here? And if so, where? I did not mining boom here. I have this marker and I moved it, but I did not mining boom. So let me... I guess I have new information already, which is where the explorer is going to land, right? Well, nothing to do about that. Let's think about this. What is the objectively best mining boom land? It's land 8, right? It must be land 8. Land 3 would threaten to be too large. This still has a disease. I want to keep the disease for if it explores. Land 8 doesn't have its disease anymore. I'll just mining boom that. Alright, then we do the explorer and the escalation. Alright. And yeah, that land is kind of, it will explore. With a second explorer, it will build a town, it will be at 3 and threaten a ravage. Which either I could defend with domesticated or I'll solve the land before. Alright, now's my slow. It seems easily Bloodwater and Bloodlust for land 8 is correct, right? I mean, where else would it be half as good? So this probably skips this ravage. If it doesn't, not the end of the world, but probably does. And then I have 2 more powers with a little bit of movement. I think that's probably correct to clear land 5 and perhaps land 6. If I clear land 6, how would that work? I would... Yeah, so I could push the Dahan into here downgrade, but I'm not sure if I want that. I think I probably don't. So I think what I'm doing here is that I use Swell and Spill on land 5, push that Explorer somewhere, who cares, it gets downgraded, and downgrade that so it's no longer mining land. Just in case the disease gets ignored, right? And then... Is that correct? I think that was wrong. I think this is correct. Downgrade the city instead. Now it's a mining land, which means it will not explore into. It will not build, and then I clear it next turn. Towns can be moved by Swell and Spill level 2, which I will have. So yeah, that land is kind of... I already have a solution set up for that. There is the danger that we draw disease ignore and then it blights. Whereas before, in the disease ignore event, it only builds, but it's fine. And then Silent Spell, that was that. Sanguinary Taint, 1 fear. Has to be this guy, right? Push that into where? Land 8 maybe? Again, there's the danger of the disease ignore event. But there's not really any other land where it does anything, right? So, and the question is, what do I want here? I could... Downgrading the Explorer removes the largest number of invaders, makes it easier to downgrade this from a mining land into a non-mining land. But it also kind of limits the amount of lands that I can use for mining boom. And this seems like a better mining boom land than most. But a mining boom would build a second city. I think I'm not sure if it's correct, but I'd remove the Explorer. There's also the argument that beasts eat Explorers way more often than they eat towns, right? Alright. But that's the last time changing my mind on this. So the argument here is that by downgrading the town into an Explorer in a land with a beast, the chances of the beast doing something is maximized. Alright, that was my slow. Go for 3 plays, take 3 energy, check that. We add 1 presence on that and get to move 2. I would like to be in here. That seems like a reasonable land to be in. This is water, and here I can choose to set this to animal probably. To get the coveted Violent Spill level 2 Sanguinary Taint level 1. We love that, or either. Alright, draw to the water set. I'm not really sure what to do here, honestly. That's a lie, I know exactly one thing to do here, and that is pull that into here, right? Downgrade into an Explorer now. This doesn't explore. This still doesn't explore. It just makes it easier in terms of the salt ravage. I don't know. Yeah, that seems good. Ideally, I would have all the Explorers and lands that I can poison do, but I mean, what can you do, right? I think that was my only quick, so let's flip the event. We are still healthy. Search for unclaimed land. Explore in a land with the fewest. We get another. Didn't the last one add explorers already? I mean, I guess the last one also added explorers, so let's read the rest first. We get a new disease, which is nice. And we get to push Dahan, which is also nice, because I don't really like the Dahan being in here. Alright, so... But first we have to explore. In the land with the fewest total invaders, Dahan. And there's only one land, and it's land 5. That is unfortunate, man. I was so ready to drop it in here, but I cannot. Yeah, too bad. And then I get to add a disease. I could add it to land 8. Seems reasonable, right? We didn't draw disease skip, so we'll use up 1 disease this turn, and then we have the option of skipping this in the mining boom turn if we want to, because it'll be pre-diseased. Yeah, it gives us more options, it's nice. Could do that here too. There's an argument to do it on land 7. Yeah, I've changed my mind, let's do it here. The argument for doing it in land 7 is that land 8 is easier to solve with Water's Renew, because it's closer to Dahan. Land 7 really doesn't have any Dahan close enough, so let's just do it here. Probably not much of a difference, but you know. And then I get to push this Dahan into here. Which, I mean, at least something, right? Explorers are reluctant. During the next normal explore, skip the lowest numbered land matching the invader card on each board. I mean, that is, I guess, something. But not a lot, honestly. Alright, we ravage here, but nothing happens. We ravage here and it costs us the disease, but nothing else. Then this is deceased, so it doesn't build. This builds a town due to the event. Thank you. Thank you so much. And then we mining boom. This time we remember. One way to mining boom would be land 5. It makes it into a mining land, which means it doesn't explore and it doesn't act. Question, can I solve it despite doing that? Because if I do it, I'll have a city, and cities are annoying. But my guess is the answer is yeah, so let's just do that. Alright. If you look at the board, we only have like mining lands or empty lands, which is how you want it. I wanted this to be empty too, but I mean, what can you do, right? So we flip and it's salt deposits. We explore these two. We push. We don't we actually don't explore here due to the explorers are reluctant. Which, you know, maybe not absolutely useless, but not that much of a difference either. Alright, so I have Poison Dew, I have Wreck with Pain and Grief, I have Sanguinary Train as well and Spell. I have a lot of options here. One thing I could be doing, probably should be doing here, is I should probably push a Town, an Explorer, and a Dahan out of here. That is 2 downgrades, which is good, and it also leaves 1 Dahan with an Explorer, killing the Explorer in the next Ravage, most likely. That just seems worth it. Push that into here. I needed some way to downgrade that, right? And then push that into maybe here. And push that into maybe here. Actually, maybe we push both of these into here. And that is then our Poison Dew land, right? I guess, do we Poison Dew this turn? The answer is probably not, right? If you Poison Dew it this turn, then it's non-mining land and builds a city. I'd rather not. So maybe I push the Explorers into here. And then I could use Wreck with Pain and Grief to start pushing out of land 8. And the solution for land 5 would then be something like Waters Renew. Oh, I used Swell and Spell, so I should add a fear for that. Alright, I still also have Sanguinary Taint. That must be correct to use in land 6, right? Yeah, let's kill that guy. And then where do I push it? I don't want all of my Dahan to be in here, so I'll probably push it into here. Remove this guy? Nah. Downgrade this? Yeah. And the reason is that I now can Wreck with Pain and Grief. Push that into here, push that into here. I have 2 more Explorers. This is 3 with 2 towns and an Explorer. That is very solvable. 1 draw to the water's edge at the right time does that. And I have 2 Dahan in here, which can maybe go into here eventually. And then there's only Poison Dew left, and Poison Dew can just kill them all. Right? And that was all of my slow. Did I generate all of my fear? Yeah, I generated 1 for each of my innates. 1 for Wreck with 2 for Wreck with Pain and Grief. Alright. So let's reclaim. Let's scan cards. And energy. I mean, that's no question, right? Love this card more in the other build, but it's still a 0 cost with all of the elements, or many of the elements, that pushes stuff and generates fear. And in the Serene build, the fear generation makes more of a difference, because you have less natural fear generation, right? So I have 2 cards with Sun and 3 cards with Animal, which means, with Plant, which means I should be able to hit my Waters Renew most of the turns. Talking about that, lock, flip, lock. Actually, let's lock it on here. So in this land, I'm thinking I should probably just defend using Waters Renew, right? It currently has 6 damage. If I pull something into there, I get a downgrade to 5 damage. Defend 3 is not enough. But I could use draw to the water's edge maybe. I don't have a sacred site, so I really cannot use it this turn. So I have to use the only other sun card I have, which makes this card. Poison Dew might not be bad this turn, neither might be Rack with Pain and Grave. And Rack is probably just the better card overall, and specifically in this situation also. I mean, you're supposed to play Water and Bloodlust here, right? I mean, it adds disease just before the Salt Deposit's turn. How can it not be correct? Alright, choosing the cards was not that hard. Now choosing what to do with it is the next question. I'm thinking maybe I draw one of the towns out of here with draw to the water's edge. And then pull... Well, what do I do with the rest? Pull a Dahan into here from land 8. Oh, I forgot I replaced 2. Never mind, I was not calculating correctly earlier. I think the correct solution is just to use Water's Renew on land 5, add a beast, don't gather any, Dahan, add a beast, defend 3, and replace 1 town with a Dahan. And yeah, that is slightly under-defended maybe, as is this honestly, but I don't really see a way around that. I have tried to the water session, I really don't want to use it. I kind of have to play it for the elements. I guess I'm not going to use it. I mean, if I just played for the elements, I might as well play Uncanny. But if I play Uncanny, I cannot play Bloodwater and Bloodlust. Yeah, it stays like that. Too bad. I mean... Yeah. Nothing to be done here, I guess. Let's flip the event. Maybe there was a better play that I did not see, but... Overconfidence. Alright, I'll discard this. I kind of tend to hate overconfidence, but mostly it's from playing against England. Otherwise it's okay. I mean, I say that, but I need to kill a Dahan now. Oh. I get to add a beast. I guess I'll add it to land 4. I destroy one of the Dahan here. I still have 2 Dahan left. And then a coordinated defense, which, okay, I guess. We ravage and jungle. They all die. We build in salt deposits, but we don't build. That is how you want it, right? Salt deposits in the build slot should not build at all, if you can help it. Then we have to mining boom. We mining boom land 3 maybe, land 4 maybe, land 8 maybe. What's my next turn? Only slow cards. Actually, I will... No, I'll have to reclaim Rock with Pain and Grief. I guess I could... No, I need to play Uncanny Melting, Poison Dew, and the only last card that has all the elements means Rock with Pain and Grief. So I'll play entirely in slow, huh? I guess I'll also have Water's Renew. I would like to minimize the number of lands I need to take care of here. That land is currently nicely solvable with Sword and Spurs. I don't wanna... so I don't want to add any more invaders to that. So let's make that land 3. Worst case, I'll just let it go. It's also not easily, actually. This land is also not easily water's renewable, huh? But it doesn't matter. No, actually it does matter. So maybe I miscalculated, but I think this is the correct play based on the fact that I don't have 2 Dahan adjacent to here, but I have 2 Dahan adjacent to there. Alright, let's see if that works. Now it's my slow. I use Rack with Pain and Grief. Let's start with Sword and Spell. Sorry, that is only 1 fear. Push out of... No, actually, getting ahead of myself here. Let's just revert the fear from Sword and Spell. Because I also have to explore. It's sands. Does that change things? Maybe a little bit. I was hoping for not sands, but it'll probably be fine. Alright, so now the escalation. I mean, I already saw jungle, so I just take these. Alright, now it's my slow. So my plan was to swell and spur from land 8. And that is usually what you like. Having a land like this is usually a good target for swell and spur level 2 because you want to push the Han and clear the land. If I have the land like this, then I can either push the Han or clear the land. And if you manage to push the Han, then of course you get one more downgrade. I could use 2 cards on that. I could use Wreck. I also still have Bloodwater and Bloodlust. Could use that here too. I want to defend one land using Water's Renew and do a ton of damage and fear, I guess. And it's either land. It could just. Yeah, maybe that should be land 4 then. In that case, what I'll do is I'll use Wreck with Pain and Grief on land 3. I'll push this into here and I'll push this into here, and one of them downgrades. I think I downgrade this at this point. And then I'll... That was Wreck with Pain and Grief. And then I'll use Swell and Spell, 1 fear. Push these 2 into here. Push these 2 into here. And I think at this point I would like to... Man, I wish this was a wetlands or something. Maybe I should push... Oh, I should push that shit into here is the answer, sure. Push it all into here, right? Both of them, all of them, everything. That is 1, 5, 7, 8. So that's 1 too many, right? So let's downgrade an Explorer here. And then this looks like it should be solvable with Water's Renew. Let me count just to make sure. I pull 1 in for downgrade, I defend 3, I replace 1, I'll be 5 against 3. So that means I need to push this Explorer. I pushed 2 out of here, right? And I have to push 1 of them into land 2. Let's do that then. And then it's defendable with Water's Renew, right? Yeah, I'll have them down at 4 damage against 3 defend. Oh, I forgot to... I still have Bloodwater and Bloodlust and I haven't used it yet. So... maybe use it on here. Feels like a waste with the disease and whatnot, but it'll be fine, right? If I'm lucky, the beast is the Explorer. Okay, so this is turn 6. We open that, we take 3 energy, we gain energy, we place the presence here, and we place a presence here perhaps. You play this and this and this. It's the only way we can play 3 cards and still hit level 2 of Water's Renew, and we need a Poison Dew for that. For the water and plant, otherwise it doesn't work. So we have Water's Renew, we draw, say, this and this into here. Downgrading that, adding a beast. Replacing that with a Tahan. Defending 3. And I guess you push that and pull that into here just to be sure it doesn't cascade. And then the only lands, actually, I guess plus damage is more likely than disease ignore. So let's just ignore that for now. This is at 4 plus this is at 7, so I'm okay with that. Let's flip into event, nothing too bad. Relentless optimism. Destroying doesn't generate. I kinda hate that most of the time, but with Serene it's less bad than usual. Foreign diseases. In the land with the most combined invaders plus the Han, 1 damage. Add 1 disease, 2 damage to the Han. I think it must be land 4, right? Yeah. Losing another Dahan. Game hits my Dahan. But alright. Once again, 2 Dahan are strictly speaking enough. And it's not a mining land, so the disease does not... It's not a mining land, I fucked up, huh? It doesn't defend because it's not a mining land. Oh man, yeah, that is just misplay on my part. You're supposed to notice that, and I did not. But I do get 1 energy for my trouble, right? I downgraded 1 too many here. I needed to downgrade a town instead of a... Needed to downgrade 1 town to an explorer. Instead downgraded 1 explorer to nothing, and that reduced it to 2. I'll just take the loss here. Isolate 1 land. I mean, land 6 is sort of pocketed. They're not gonna build in land 1. Not gonna build in land 8. If I isolate land 7, does it help me in any way? They will either wetlands or... I think that would be a bad land to explore into. I'm okay if it explores into here. And this is already pocketed. Okay. Salt deposits. I fucked up here, so it doesn't ravage. But the disease prevents this ravage. I need to clear that, or at least unmining and boom it, because next turn it will be double ravage. Then this disease prevents the build, and there's no build here. I need to mining boom. Land 7, right? It's just my big land. I'm not sure that is correct though. Probably not. I need to remove that, move that, or whatever. I need to reduce the number of enemies I have in there. Also, I probably don't hit Water's Renew at full strength next turn. So, yeah, there's that. What else do I mining boom? Could mining boom land 3. Don't really know why I would. Land 2. Could mining boom land 2, but it would ravage then. It's either 3 or 7. If it's 3, then it builds a city. It's fine. I'll probably take... What is it? Draw to the water's edge. And it's mountain anyway. Alright, and I explore into either wetlands or jungle. Has to be this, right? Don't want a mining land here. Alright. Then I need to consider whether or not I want to actually take a blight next turn. Just because of the uncanny melting. The answer is probably yeah. For now, let's remove that and then just take a blight next turn. Then I can actually, you know what, I add that to here. And then I poison do that. And then I have Wreck with Pain and Grief and Sweat and Spell. This looks like a good Wreck with Pain and Grief target. Sorry, Sweat and Spell target, so 1 fear. Push that into here, push that into here, this downgrades. They both also die in Poison Dew. And then push this into here. And it downgrades. This is now again a legal number, right? It is 6 invaders. And I still haven't used Drag with Binding Creep, I don't think. So let's do that and push this into land 2 as well, and then it dies to Poison Dew. Yeah, Poison Dew not so bad in the matchup, or on the Spirit. Just push everything into here, downgrade all towns to Explorers, and then use Poison Dew. Alright, and now here's the question. First of all, how far am I away from victory? And the answer is a fair bit, honestly. I'm far away from Terror level 3. I haven't found an opportunity to play V4 at this last because of pretty strong requirements around which cards I have to play if I want to hit Water's Renew and full strength. Land 7 will ravage twice this turn unless I do something about it. If I reduce it to non-mining land status, though, it will not ravage at all. I could also defend it with Domesticated. How much damage do they do? They're 6 damage too much. Although if I Water's Renewed, even without the last kicker, I would have 5 defend, and 3 defend is 8 defend, and a downgrade. So that's like 9 defend, but the land is 3, 6, 9. It's just 1 damage too much. I could actually gamble it. The issue with gambling it is that it ravages twice. I really would like to prolong my reclaim here and go with that or something. Draft a card. As long as the card does anything, it's actually kind of good here. Or do that and draft a card. And then play 1 card from here. Could be Throw to the Water's Edge, would be enough. Yeah, as long as it works out in terms of energy, I think the rest works out. And I think it works if I play Reap4 this last this and next turn. Because it's 0 cost. So let's do that. We'll draft. I could even take Swarming Wasp here. So I'm gonna play these 2 for sure, and I think this one. And then my last card is going to be... Like in theory, if I hit Plant plus Water card, I can hit my full strength Water's Renew here, but I never expected that. So it's either Swarming Wasps for the push of the Explorers, which honestly would not be bad. Infested Aquifers for, I guess, a double element, but I don't. I mean, this is nice and all, but Bat Scout is good, honestly, but it's slow. Let me think about this for a second. If I Swarming Wasp push Explorers out of there, then I can defend it, right? Yeah, I think I can defend it. Then I have 3 Dahan in there. Did I remember to do that? Did I generate Fear through Destruction last turn? No. Good. I did not ignore Relentless Optimism by accident. Anyway, back to this turn. I think if I have to play a card that is of element, I want it to be Swarming Wasp. Because it's 0 cost. And playing the water card here doesn't actually give me more of anything that I care about. So, and since if you go 4 plays without uncovering 3 energy, then your main concern is running out of energy with all the miners that you draft, so useful to play 0 cost miners, right? I wanted to take a blight this turn. I guess I'm not going to. I'm not sure if that is correct. Maybe I should have taken a blight somewhere. Maybe I should have pushed something into somewhere so that it ravages. Funnily enough, I still could. I could have like a ravage here. That is funny. Okay, let's think about that. I think I'll do that. Gather that into here, flip it. Alright, so let's start with Water's Renew. 1, 2. This downgrades. And it adds a beast. And it adds defend 3. And then I also domesticated, which, if I mentioned yet, that card is I just love that card on this field. More on the animal build, but it's so good you can even play it here. So that is defend 8, and I still have open one downgrade of my choice. So if I currently that's 3, 9, 11, right? Yeah, it's 11 damage. So let's say I downgrade this. And then I put, I don't know, into here with drawn to the water's edge. Draw to the water's edge. Then this is over so yeah, this is defended 8 against 8. And it used draw to the water's edge and water's renew. It will do good damage and ravage. And I still have Storming Wasp open, which I'll use to push these two into here. And I'll choose not to downgrade, which I can do. Which means that this will blight, which means that I will turn off the HME 6 again. Alright, I'm not sure if that is not just a sign of misplay. Maybe I should just have not healed that blight earlier, but you know, too late to change my mind on that one. I think I did all of my quick, so let's go into event. I'm terror level 2 now, Wavering Resolve. Remove 1 health worth of invaders per power card and blade that generates fear. Oh man, that's gonna be 1, 2, 2. 2 is actually more than I thought. It is destruction not by destroying. Yeah, so I can actually just remove 2 invaders worth of health. What's the rest? Damage in 1 land. I can kill something here or there. Or actually I can do something here, huh? Yeah, I'll use it on land 7, I guess. So which... Oh, actually, no, it's 1 fear per power card and blade that generates fear. Never mind. I somehow read that to mean remove 1 invader health. No, it actually is remove 1 invader health. What am I doing? I'm in terror level 2. Alright, in terror level 2, I am actually removing 1 health worth of invaders per power card and blade that generates fear. Maybe just remove that. It's not great, right? But I mean, it's fine. Actually, let's remove that instead. And that. Doesn't say anything about having to be in 1 land. So I guess that qualifies. Alright, then do 1 damage in a land with Beast. I don't have any bad lands. Do that damage to the city. And then also 1 damage to Dahan. Let's do it here, who cares? In a land with a Beast. And then on each board with 3 or with 5 of your Dahan, destroy presence, which, since I keep losing Dahan every turn, I lose a presence here, but that is fine. I was gonna lose that anyway. And I don't add blight because I do have 3 or more. Choose a different coastland with Dahan. In each... Actually, I have terror level 2. I can gather a Dahan before I do 1 damage, which I guess. Not all that useful, but I'll take it. Alright, so this is ravaging for 8, and they all die. And I believe they're no longer a mining land, so they don't ravage a second time. If they were still a mining land, they would ravage a second time. No, this ravages twice. Yeah, I fucked it up. I explained that wrong. Here, it doesn't ravage twice for being a mining land, it ravages twice for being a mine. If it was a mining land, that also was either sands or a mountain. Here, on the other hand, I really do have a land that is ravaging twice. Once, just flip the blight card, with the second one, it upgrades. Yeah, that was... Look, it's like... I'm tired. Downward spiral, the original, whatever. We will show that the game can be won even when tired. I think that was correct. And then the board is kind of clear. I need to mining boom into here. I don't have any adjacent to Han, which is annoying because that would be my primary way of dealing with that, but I can probably get some close to there. And then we'll 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, this does not have any adjacent buildings. So my win condition is no buildings. I have report is lost. I can use it on here for 3 fear. That seems good. And also push up to 2 invaders. That seems not bad, right? I don't have a presence in there, so I cannot really do anything about the town, right, city right now. The only thing I can do about it is have. The only thing I can do about it is have Dahan close enough. Can't really do that much, huh? I'm looking for a line of play that lets me push Dahan into there and also deal with land 3, but that's kind of rough because land 3 is on the opposite end of the board, right? And I only have one Dahan movement card, which is Silent Spell. And what it means is that I probably don't actually win in quick, which was my hope. I mean, maybe I do. Yeah, I think. But I reclaim. If I had a presence in that land, I could win in quick. Actually, I think I can still do it. No, I cannot. I would need to push a presence into there. And still push, which requires the use of Silent Spell. And also would need to push a second Dahan close to it, which also needs the use of Silent Spell. But on a different land than the first use of Silent Spell. The first use of Silent Spell must be in one of these. And the second use of Silent Spell must be on land 7. So there's no way that I can both push a presence into there and... So I guess we win in... Not push a presence into there and... What's the word, man? And also push a Dahan adjacent. So I guess we win in ravage instead of in quick. How does that work? That works probably starting here, right? I use report as lost, 2 fear, push that, and it just, downgrades into explorer that dies because it's damaged. Then use Violence Spell, 1 fear, push that into here, downgrades, push that into here, downgrades. I guess push beast if I want to, who cares? And then reclaim all, add 1 energy, press this button, don't care what it does. Draw to the water's edge solves this town. None of these actually kills anything in quick, right? No. Yeah, so draw to the water's edge solves this town, and all I need is to defend that enough. I'm not in there, so I cannot use domesticated, but I can use something like this and this. And what else do I need? Honestly, nothing. Like, maybe 1... Sure. Maybe 1 more water in case we get too slow. So I hit full level of Silent Spell. Draw to the water's edge. Draw this into... I don't know, here. And it's no longer a building. Then, what is renew? Gather these 2 into land 6, downgrading the town. Then add a beast. There's some events that let me win in quick. Then defend 3. Then replace that city with a Dahan. And I guess pull that blight into here. And if I had anything else, if I had a presence in there, or if I had any more quick town pushes, I would have won the game. Alas, we see 1 more event card. We are blighted because I fucked up. Add a blight to a coastal land. I can destroy presence to ignore that. Let's destroy presence. Push one beast to an adjacent land. It deals 1 damage there. Adjacent land must not have blight. Guess push that into here, kill that. During ravage, the hand defense, sure. Actually removes 1 taunt from a land with 2 or fewer invaders. Yeah, well, huh? I'll remove that. This was 3 land. What's that? Land 6 is 3 invaders. Different land with the hand, each 1 damage, defend 3, sure. And then it's ravage, and they all die. Good game. Turn 8 invader phase. With better play, there's probably a win in turn 8 fast. But yeah, it's good enough. I think the game went extremely well, and that we managed to stay on healthy on 1 blight on the card for like all of the game, and with better play we would have stayed there for like the entire game. So that is always good. You're not like risking bad blighted island events that way. And domesticated animals was definitely a draft worth picking up despite being animal. Sorry about that. Yeah, the card is just really good on the spirit, so pick it up, do well. HME tends to have a lot of medium-sized problems if you want, and discard and a little bit of the hand solves medium-sized problems. That is like what that card does, so. Or you can use it together with Waters Renew and just solve big problems instead. That is good too. Yeah, I'm still happy with having picked up Poison Dew over, what's that card, Strong and Constant Currents. I mean, Strong and Constant is insane, but I mean, Poison Dew was very useful here as well, and we would have lost at least 1 use of Waters Renew. The turn 6 use of Waters Renew we would have lost. The last line of that, if not for having picked up Poison Dew. So yeah, that was good. We probably lost, only picked Blade 1, but I mean, it was fine. It's fine. Downgrade 1 town, 2 fear, 0 cost, good elements. And the rest, yeah. Yeah, good game.